Majora's Mask is weird. And not a cute kind of weird, more like a puzzling, suspenseful, almost uncomfortable kind of weird. This is a vibe you'd expect from a series like Silent Hill or Fatal Frame. Notice the vacant, almost inhuman looks here? That's because these games are shit-your-pants horrifying. After the critical and, more importantly, commercial success of Ocarina of Time, this is the last thing you'd expect from a sequel. Ocarina warmly invited you on a grand adventure across the world. Sure, there were some bumps in the road, but it still had that triumphant punch to it. Majora just wants you to go away. Preferably to the corner of your room and start crying. This game is rough, unapologetic, and straight up dark. And you know what? I love it. I don't know how something so odd on paper could stand on its own, but it was unlike any game we'd ever seen from Nintendo before or after its release. And if you put a gun to my head, I'd say this is the most emotional, artistically expressive game the company has ever created. Right above Nintendogs plus Cats. Majora's Mask actually started in the concept stage as a sort of deluxe version of Ocarina for the short-lived N64 DD peripheral, with presumably new content and remixed dungeons, but series director Eiji Aonuma pushed back, wanting to create a new game in the franchise. He got his wish, but only if the game could be completed within 1 year. Here's the thing about video game development. It sucks Deku nuts. So development pretty much started immediately and was non-stop. Thankfully, there were plenty of old assets to be recycled from Ocarina. Loads of NPCs, items, and enemies were all reused where they seemed fit, but old assets wouldn't be enough to create a new experience. Aonuma started development to avoid creating an Ocarina Deluxe or an Ocarina 1.5, so Majora needed something special, something to set itself apart from its predecessor. Yeah, that works. Majora starts an unspecified amount of time after Link is transported back in time at the end of Ocarina. He's roaming the Lost Woods, searching for his old companion Navi. Not sure why anyone would want to have Navi around, but hey, more power to him. Then you get mugged by some jerkweed with a mask, lose your horse, your Ocarina, fall down a trippy ass hole, and oh, now you're a tree person in this weird new country Termina. According to this probable serial killer and/or demon person, his all-powerful satanic mask was stolen by Skull Kid, that jerkweed, and is using its power to send the moon crashing into town in 3 days. Couldn't have stolen the Mario mask? Or, that one? It's like a rock person thing? The tone of Majora's Mask is ominous and foreboding, but really dreamlike. There's obvious connections to stories like Alice in Wonderland, and the reused assets strengthen this kind of subconscious fever dream aesthetic, like something out of The Wizard of Oz. These stylistic choices blend together in a way that make up this vague weirdness that gives Majora a unique presence when compared to other entries in the series. And then there's the time travel mechanic, which is just freaking bonkers. Consider the prologue of the game to start when you step foot in Clocktown. Oh, alright, I guess I have to beat the game in 3 days. That's easy, I'll just chase these kids around, find this fairy, and alright. I guess I have 2 days. You're freaking out! Time is ticking away, you just started the dang game! What is happening? Then it clicks. The Ocarina. You use the Ocarina to go back in time, back to the first day, and this was genius, on so many levels. You can inject all this different content into the same areas and settings of Termina that make every time you reset the world feel brand new. You memorize certain NPCs, where they are, what they do day to day, and use them to activate quests based on items or knowledge you've gained from a previous 3-day cycle. Of course, there's the main quests and dungeons to take care of eventually to beat the game, but the heart and soul of Majora's Mask lies with its many side quests. One thing that stuck out to me my first time playing Majora was how alive the 3-day cycle made Termina feel. The Bomber's Notebook lets you keep track of every citizen of Termina, showing their schedule and when important events involving them will start. Having a schedule system of side quests in a game where you constantly manipulate time is a really neat idea. It's like Groundhog Day, the video game. But Zelda, when you start to really go around Termina and meet all these NPCs, it's a really surreal feeling when you have to go back in time to before you even interacted with them. But it also somehow increases the connection you feel to these characters. The fan-favorite Lovers side quest involves a soon-to-be-married couple whose relationship is ruined when Skull Kid transforms the woman's fiancé into a child. It's up to you to find the fiancé and save their marriage, which still goes on despite the crucial age difference. But even though you keep the rewards of these quests, the actual help you give isn't permanent. There's still a gigantic constipated moon ready to absolutely demolish everything and everyone, and you gotta turn back time before everybody dies. Getting involved in all these NPCs' lives and seeing how they react to imminent death and destruction is morbid. Like, really morbid. Characters that paid the moon no concern in the first days now cower in fear when the moon draws closer. A little girl's older sister lets her drink what's implied to be alcoholic milk because she'd be too drunk to be aware of her inevitable doom.
Rated E for
everyone! Showing how these characters react to such terrifying circumstances humanizes them more than dull NPCs whose purpose is over once you gain a reward from them. It really makes you want to fill out the bomber's notebook and help out everyone in Termina until you have to reset everything. Yeah, this game is f***ed up. While time travel affects your rupee count and item supplies, important dungeon items, weapons, and side quest rewards will always stay with you.
Like all these awesome freaking masks!
Masks are the best side quest rewards in Zelda, period. Want to be invisible to the naked eye? Boom, stealth mask. Run really fast? Bam, bunny ears. Drink beer? Blam. Middle-aged man. You can also do that. Now that is something. These are the best side quest rewards because the value here is simply through the roof, but there's also transformation masks, arguably the most important new addition to the game. Following the main game allows you to own masks of 3 important species from Ocarina: the Deku, the Gorons, and the Zora. Collecting these masks lets you transform into these creatures and use their abilities. You can roll around as a Goron, swim at high speeds as a Zora, or use your Deku powers to blow some bubbles and hop on water a little bit. The controls in Majora remain obviously reminiscent of its predecessor thanks to the recycling of the engine. Movement and combat for young Link are exactly as you'd remember from the previous game, but you can do some pretty extreme flips.
Nice.
But with brand new transformations, you can bring a different approach to dealing with enemies and puzzles. It's fun to toy around with these abilities, but I think the fun comes with using them in tandem with Link's human form. It adds more experimentation to the combat and game in general that I appreciate, but certain aspects of the different control schemes can be a little awkward. Zora swimming though? The speed is incredible and makes you feel like you want to just spin around and zoom through the whole Great Bay Dungeon 1,000 times, which I did because I couldn't solve the puzzles. I'm not very bright. But speaking of dungeons, Majora's Mask is a smaller game in scale compared to what we're used to as Zelda enthusiasts. There's no shortage in value of content if you consider the side quests, but there's 4 dungeons, 4 dungeon bosses, and then a battle inside the moon. Still awesome, but that's a lot less than what we've been accustomed to. Due to the nature of the rushed development time, more attention was focused on polishing a smaller amount of dungeons instead of roughly creating more, thinking more puzzles, costing more time, and eventually cancellation. I think giving more time to fewer dungeons was perfect for this game in particular. The quality of all 4 are on pretty equal footing, and the smaller amount gives more attention to the side quests, which is very fitting for the tone and structure. While some dungeons shine more than others, none had any flaws that ruin the whole experience of the dungeon, a burden that Ocarina had to carry a few times. If I had to pick one to herald as the dungeon of the game, I'd pick the Stone Tower Temple. This is a complex, rewarding temple that requires the skills of every transformation, and really eats away at that 3-day cycle. Leaving the temple unfinished to save your own skin was a real possibility, and a damn suspenseful one at that. But the cherry on top was finding the giant mask and using it for your own insane, epic kaiju boss battle. While the quality of the dungeons are pretty equal, the boss battles are split between the cool ones and the lame ones. The high-octane adrenaline of rolling around and crashing into a giant goat is pure bliss. And then they're stabbing a big fish. Different levels of intrigue there. But what kind of Zelda video would this be without talking about yet another fantastic score? The game's soundtrack, composed once again by Koji Kondo, perfectly projects the tone and feelings that surround Termina. Real shocker there. With some help from fellow composer Toru Menegishi, Kondo blends all these types of emotions that really shouldn't mix into this melting pot of excellence. What, you think I'm joking? Nah. This is the kind of game that can jump from the dark and brooding to the happy and cheery and the empty existential crisis, all on a whim, like in a snap. Some tracks are lifted from Ocarina, but every original song in Majora is a classic. All great game soundtracks have a good range of emotion, but Majora's Mask can encapsulate suspense, sadness, joy, fun, and straight up weirdness in a way that only strengthens its identity. That's because the identity of Majora's Mask, in my humble opinion, is the human identity. I've seen many interpretations of where the message of Majora lies in the grand scheme of things. Some consider it a story of death and overcoming grief, and there's some credence to that. The masks you obtain all come from figures that are very concretely dead. Each phase of the game connects to the Kubla-Ross stages of grief, with denial from the citizens of Clocktown, ignorance of their own doom, anger from the Deku tribe who displaced their rage from loss onto an innocent monkey, bargaining from Darmani's ghost who begs to be brought back to life, and depression from a grieving widow who just lost her husband, eventually leading to acceptance and enlightenment by acquiring the light arrows in the Stone Tower Temple. I don't disagree with this interpretation by any means, but I think it only scratches the surface of what the game is trying to portray to the player. It's a story about being human and grappling with all different kinds of emotions in the struggle to simply live, especially in the face of death. That's why you care about helping the citizens of Termina, who all deal with their own internal struggles, like a daughter afraid of her father, or a workaholic who just can't relax. When you gain the transformation masks, you assume the identity of someone who's passed on. I think it's no stretch to say that by helping the people of Termina and solving their own internal crises, they gift you with a part of their own identity, the masks, which are mostly infused with defining character traits of the people around you. You're connecting with people by helping them face life's challenges. The reward for collecting every mask is the Fierce Deity's mask, a mask that lets you transform into a vengeful and badass god. Its origins derive from the Japanese deities known as the Kishin, who symbolize the effort it takes to overcome adversity and evil. Eiji Aonuma himself said the memories of the people of Termina live within the mask. Memories, life, death, joy, depression, fear, anger. Memories are emotion. Memories are the human identity, and the struggles of these people are what's used in the final hour to vanquish evil and its vices. This game was created in a f***ing year. The legacy of Majora's Mask is one that's only grown with time. As a game, it managed to match up to the fun and groundbreaking aspects of Ocarina of Time, but as a piece of art, it strives to show the power of connection and how it relates to the human identity. And this all hits you right up to the ending of the game. When you save Termina and destroy the evil inside Majora's Mask, you're greeted by the happy mask salesman and Skull Kid. It turns out Skull Kid was manipulated by the power of the mask to bring about all this suffering, and the reason he embraced its power was because he was alone, ready to lash out at a world he thought would never accept him. All he wanted was connection, a friend to help him deal with the harsh realities of life. The happy mask salesman, who's been an enigmatic and slightly creepy character throughout the entirety of the game, then imparts the most meaningful farewell in the game, making light of how people come and go. But if you go through the effort of collecting every mask, he'll emphasize that you've made your masks and in turn the people of Termina extremely happy. It's an ending that feels intrinsically satisfying and can evoke any number of feelings on your first playthrough. If you haven't played Majora's Mask, you're missing out on the most unique and emotionally resonating Zelda experience. And if you have played it, play it again.